Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Governor McMaster, Lieutenant Governor Evett, President Alexander, Speaker Smith, members of the Robert Smalls Monument Commission, members of the State Senate and House of Representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's ceremonial groundbreaking for the Robert Smalls Monument. I'm Mike Shealy with the South Carolina Department of Administration, and I serve as chairman of the commission. In 2007, the General Assembly passed Act 77, a bill that placed a moratorium on any new memorials on the South Carolina State House grounds. In that legislation, the process was established to make an exception to that rule. The legislation stated that if the moratorium is lifted, the State House Committee may approve the placement of a new monument pursuant to this section if the monument represents enduring significant historical contributions, achievements, or accomplishments of a South Carolinian or a milestone in the state's history. We gather here today because Robert Smalls' life was one of historical contributions, achievements, and accomplishments. The 2007 statute prescribed a multi-layered process for approvals, since any new monuments will be an exception to the moratorium. So today I am very pleased to announce that all legislative approvals have been attained, and the commission is now beginning a new phase of fundraising to make the Robert Smalls Monument a reality. Now I'd like to welcome Marcia Adams, the Executive Director of the South Carolina Department of Administration. Marcia?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you and good morning to everyone. Today marks an important event, and I'm honored to join each of you to be a part of it. On behalf of the Department of Administration, I want to express our sincere appreciation to the Commission and each of its members for your service, your thoughtful engagement, and commitment to this important work. Your time, your expertise, and leadership have helped guide this effort and bring us to this meaningful moment. And I also want to thank Mike Shealy for his service as admin's designee to serve as chairman of the commission. Mike, thank you for your steady leadership, for your dedication, for your time, and the care you've given to guide this commission and its efforts to this point and to beyond this point. I would also like to recognize Katie Phillips, Admin's Director of Governmental Affairs, for working closely with the commission throughout this process. Katie, thank you for your coordination, your support, your dedication to ensuring that this important work moves forward. This moment reflects the efforts of many people, and it's a privilege to recognize their work today. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Governor Henry McMaster.
Thank you. Thank you. The sun is shining, so I will be brief. It seems to me that our state always does the right thing. We think about it, and we do the right thing. And this is another example of that. This is you could call this one of those profiles in courage. And the reason our state is so strong is because we remember where we've been. And the reason we remember where we've been is because we are strong. And we're getting stronger every day. I've had the pleasure of displaying the portrait of Robert Smalls in the hallway outside my office for 2 years now. And it's gotten a lot of inquiry. People want to know about it. And the reason it was displayed on an easel is because another one of our rules says you can't hang pictures up on the walls inside the State House. You have a hard time because most of them are granite to begin with. But it's been there, and it has been the subject of great interest. And I know a lot of history is involved in that, and that's why we have to do this. So I want to thank the commission, thank those that worked so hard to get this done. This is again another great South Carolina day, and there will be plenty more. Thank you.
We are here today because of the passage of Act 183 of 2024. Governor, you signed that bill on May 20th, 2 years ago. That bill passed the House of Representatives 99-0. It passed the state Senate 44-0. In order for all that to occur, there had to be a sponsor and co-sponsors. There were 81 co-sponsors to that piece of legislation in the House of Representatives, but there was only one primary sponsor. He's here today, the Honorable Brandon Cox. Representative Cox.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here. First, I'd like to thank my mom and wife for being here. Thank you guys so much. I'd like to thank the General Assembly, the Governor's Office, Lieutenant Governor. Quite honestly, y'all know Columbia, nothing gets done by one person. This is 100% a team effort. Without the support of everyone involved in this process, we would not be here today. I would especially like to thank admin and our chairman, Mike Shealy. Can you imagine 170 General Assembly members trying to do this? Thank goodness we have you at the helm. Thank you so much. This has been an ongoing effort. We're 3 years plus in the making, and today we need to expose this and get some national attention, start raising some funds, and I think we have somebody here to talk about that. And Mr. Chairman, I'll give it back over to you. Thank you.
Within the commission, there were 5 members of the House and 5 members of the Senate. Here today to speak on behalf of the Senate side is Senator Margie Bright Matthews. She represents Senate District 45, which includes parts of downtown Beaufort. It's important to remember the final resting place for Congressman Smalls, as well as the house where he was born a slave and later purchased as an adult, are both located in her senatorial district in downtown Beaufort. Senator Matthews.
Good morning, South Carolina. I want to first start out by recognizing those members of the Beaufort delegation that are present. If you would raise your hand. Today is a wonderful day in South Carolina, and it is long overdue. We gather here not simply to break ground for a monument, but to help tell the full story of South Carolina and of America through the life of one extraordinary man, a Beaufortonian, Robert Smalls, a man born into slavery in Beaufort, South Carolina, a man who could have accepted the limits society tried to place on him, but instead, he changed history. Robert Smalls risked his life, his freedom, and the lives of his family to commandeer a Confederate ship and sail it to freedom. In doing so, he delivered not only himself and others out of bondage, but valuable intelligence to the Union Army that helped change the course of the Civil War. That act alone would have secured his place in American history, but he didn't stop there. He became a businessman, an educator, a legislator right here, and a congressman. A fierce advocate of public education and equal rights, and throughout his life, he fought to make this state live up to its highest ideals. And I take special pride in saying this: Robert Smalls' home, like was said earlier, and final resting place, I am honored to have them in my district. All of the Beaufort delegation is honored to respect Robert Smalls and his legacy. In Beaufort County, his presence is still felt. His legacy still lives, and generations of South Carolinians still walk in the path he helped create. I believe that I walk in his path. For years, many people worked to bring this moment to life. I've been honored to serve as the co-chair of the committee dedicated to making this monument a reality. And I want to thank every historian, community leader, legislator, donor, advocate, and citizens who refuse to let this vision fade away. And let me repeat, donor, we will need you. That's what I'm talking about. Monuments matter. Your donations will matter. They tell us who we value, they tell us whose story deserves to be remembered, and they tell future generations what kind of courage and leadership we choose to honor. For far too long, the contributions of Black South Carolinians were overlooked, minimized, or left out entirely from the public spaces of power in this state. But not today. Today, we take another step toward correcting that history. And let me be clear, this monument is not just for Black South Carolinians. This monument is for all of South Carolinians. Because Robert Smalls represents the best of this state: courage, patriotism, intelligence, perseverance, and faith in democracy, even when democracy did not fully believe in him. I believe that a lot of the gentlemen, and mostly women, have those qualities. And that's why South Carolina continues to strive. At a time when our nation often feels divided, the life of Robert Smalls reminds us, I knew that would get, truth will set you free. And at a time when our nation often feels divided, the life of Robert Smalls reminds us that real leadership is not about fear. It is about courage. It is about vision. It is about sacrifice. And it is about believing that the next generation deserves something better than what we inherit. It was said yesterday, they deserve a republic. Long after we're all gone, children will walk these State House grounds and see his statue standing there. They will ask who Robert Smalls was. And because of what we've done today, South Carolina will finally answer the question the right way. Thank you all. God bless you, and God bless the great state of South Carolina.
Thank you, Senator Matthews. As I mentioned earlier, the Robert Smalls Monument Commission is now in the fundraising phase of our mission. The commission was fortunate enough to ask and have said yes, Senator Gerald Malloy, to lead the fundraising effort and serve as chairman of the fundraising committee. Senator Malloy.
Good morning to all. I get a chance to be a pitch man and a cheerleader once again. For all of those that are here, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Speaker of the House, and President of the Senate, and all of you, I just remind you again that today we're standing on sacred ground. Not merely because this is the State House and state of South Carolina, but it's the people's house. We came here today to make certain that that is well known. And today, history bends closer toward justice, truth, and honor. Many may not realize it, but today is the 164th anniversary of Robert Smalls' daring journey to freedom. Now, the day that we commemorate as Robert Smalls Day, we break ground for a monument that has been far too long. Today, South Carolina prepares to permanently place before the world the likeness of a man born enslaved in Beaufort, became a Civil War hero, naval pilot, legislator, congressman, educator, and one of the greatest patriots this country has ever produced. And today, for the first time in history, an African-American man will be honored on the monument on the grounds of State House. And I came here to tell you that that matters. It matters because monuments tell stories. They reveal who we choose to remember, they reveal what we have, and they reveal who belongs within the full story of South Carolina. For generations, Robert Smalls' life was powerful enough to inspire a nation, yet absent from these grounds. But beginning today and future generations, children from every corner of the state will walk these grounds and see a man who rose from bondage to statesmanship, standing prominently amongst the figures who shaped South Carolina here's stories. And what a story it is. And you've heard a lot about everything that has passed and his course that he took, but the act that he did changed history. It also encouraged President Abraham Lincoln to authorize enlistment of black soldiers in the Union Army. But he did not stop there. He came back, he served the nation, he served his people, he served South Carolina, he was in the legislature, he was in 5 terms in Congress. He was one of the founders of public education, one of the founders of the South Carolina Republican Party, fought for equal rights, fought for opportunity, and fought for a democracy large enough to include everyone. And perhaps no words capture the spirit of Robert Smalls more than those that are in his epitaph. So as we continue to go through the history, his epitaph reads, "My race needs no special defense, for the past history of them in this country proves them to be the equal of any people anywhere. All they need is an equal chance in the battle for life." And all of us are in the battle for life. And so we represent here an equal chance. And that is what he believed in, that is what he fought for, and that is what this monument will represent. It's fitting, deeply fitting, that the monument would stand on these grounds along the side of people like Wade Hampton and along with people like Ben Tillman, who was his contemporaries. Not because their stories are the same, because their stories are not, but they all belong a part of South Carolina history. Our history is complex, it's honest, it's painful, it's triumphant, and it's incomplete unless all of the voices are represented. So Robert Smalls belongs here. He belongs here not as a footnote, not as an afterthought, but as a giant of South Carolina history. So this moment will not merely honor one man, it will honor perseverance over oppression, citizenship over exclusion, service over division, and hope over fear. And as chairman of the fundraising committee, I have the extraordinary privilege of witnessing people from every background come together. And I would say that it's believed that South Carolina is strong enough to tell the whole truth about itself. And I want to thank those that have gone before us to do it. Shane Massey passed the first resolution to put his portrait on the State House walls. Hopefully we have enough after this is left over to put that portrait on the State House walls. Chip Campson was a stalwart for Robert Smalls. He's also a sailor. He does boats. He does the whole thing. He tells the story as well as anyone. And long after we're gone, we'll know that this monument will still stand. The students will study it. The families will visit it. The children will ask about it. And somewhere around, a young person standing on these grounds will look up at Robert Smalls and realize that courage can change history. And we break this ground. It will not be about the bronze and the stone. We break the ground for memory, for recognition, and for the continuing journey toward a more complete South Carolina. So may this monument always remind us that greatness can rise from humble beginnings, that patriotism knows no color, that freedom once claimed by brave souls can inspire generations yet unborn. May God bless the legacy of Robert Smalls. May God bless the state of South Carolina, and may God bless America. And what we would have here, if you want to be a part of this journey, to be etched in this stone and bronze, Robert Smalls Commission, go to it. The admin, they have a website. You will be able to join in and contribute, and we need to make this a reality. We have a great sculptor, Basil Watson, and we will end up having a showpiece here in the state of South Carolina that will be long remembered. And what you will remember by this day, on this anniversary, guess what? You were a part of it. And that's what we want. That's what South Carolina should look alike and what it should look about. And we want to end up thanking all of you for being here. This is a great representation of who we are and what we will always be.
Thank you, Senator Malloy. Once constructed, the Robert Smalls Monument will stand as a reminder that history is not distant. It lives in our communities, in our public places, and in the stories we choose to preserve and elevate. If you would like more information and would like to contribute to the design, construction, and dedication of the monument, please see one of the Department of Administration staff members there at either side of the gathering, the podium, and just raise your hand. They have a handout for you, and it will have a QR code on it so that you can donate if you choose to do so. I want to say thanks to everyone for being a part of this meaningful day. We look forward to seeing this monument come to life and to continuing the work of honoring Robert Smalls' extraordinary legacy.